This is our time to talk and our time to strategize around some things. And so we like to talk about some of the things that we deal with and some of the things that if you are an up and coming or someone who's in the process of becoming an entrepreneur, these are some things that you can think about as well. So Jay, what's going on, man? I'm glad you're here. So again, for those who don't know me, I am Winfred Burns II. I am the CEO of Global Drive Network. Global Drive Network is a network of internet radio shows, as well as digital magazines. So we have Nouveau Exposure magazine, which you can get for free on nouveauexposure.org. Then you can also on radio. We've got Mondays we have the Soul Cafe. On Tuesdays, the Scoop. On Wednesdays, the Word on Wednesday. On Thursday, the Queen Conversations. So we've got, and of course, we've got some other things in the work too. So we also do live shows like our relationship forum that we've got coming up in Chicago on April 8th. And we got a great panel for that. So Chicago, I definitely need you to come on out. So we do live shows. We've got some other business networking things that we do. We work with small businesses as well. So that's who we are. I'm also the money mentor, so I train, teach, and develop individuals and businesses how to become debt free and how to build and create wealth. So those are the things that I do. All right. So again, I specifically started this just because as a business owner, my concern was, as a new business owner, there's a lot of stuff that, to be quite honest, I didn't know, and I don't know, and so I'm willing to put it out there that I don't know everything, and but I'm willing to learn the things that I have learned. I'm willing to share, and so I see a lot of people who talk about how they've grown their business from $10 million to $100 million. But I'm at the space, and I know a lot of you are, where we're trying to figure out, let's just get to the $1 million. So that's kind of where I am. And so I want you guys to kind of take this journey with me, get your feedback, also me to get my feedback from the things that I see. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. So tonight we're going to kind of talk about what do you do, or what are some of the things that I've done when businesses or when things that I've done have been stuck. And even in this phase or in this stage of business, we get stuck. We can't do. No, I don't know everything. We get stuck. And so as we get stuck, we have to learn how to create or recreate, or we have to figure out what to do in that process. So let's talk about what you do, or again, some of the things that I've done in this process of trying to grow and develop. Again, as you come in the room, do me a favor, make sure you say hello, and then in the bottom left hand, hit that share button. If you got any entrepreneur friends, when you hit the share button, it gives you the option to invite friends, invite them. Because again, I specifically would love to just continue to collaborate with business owners who are in the grind and who are preparing, to get in the grind. It's one of the ways that we grow, and so we create synergy by knowing that there are other people who support us. And like I was telling somebody last week, I said, listen, we're not in competition. Even if we do the same thing, we're not necessarily in competition. We are in competition, but we're not in competition, because it's enough for all of us to eat and eat well. So we're going to make sure, again, that we want to compete, but I'm not competing to the sense I don't necessarily have to try to put you out of business in order to make myself successful. So, all right, so what are some of the things that we do when we get stuck? All right, so the first thing that I always do when I'm having a crisis or don't think that my business is doing well is I go back to what our core competency is. So a core competency is really just going back to the basics, or the reason why you started this business in the first place. Each of us, when we start a business, we start for a reason, and that reason includes to make money, but it's not just to make money. Like the sole our sole goal or our sole measure is money and profit. But most of us, when we started businesses saying, I want to be a solution to X, or I want to improve on Y, or I want to, or they were doing this like this, and I think that it's wrong, so let me change that. So those are typically the reasons why we start a business. So what was your reason? When I started Global Drive simply because I don't like most of the things that are on television, and I wanted to provide a space for young professionals and people in my age group and older and younger to be able to have healthy dialogue. I saw that we were not able to have arguments or disagreement or debates without severing relationships. So I wanted people to be able to comfortable to say, I don't agree with you, but I can still learn from you and I still want to respect you. So we came up with the model that we wanted to change a generation by raising the conversation. And that simply, again, just says that I don't want to have normal, mundane conversation. I want to have conversation that both raises my awareness, that raises my consciousness, that opens me up to new and different people and new and different perspectives. And so I wanted to create that space for people. I don't do ratchet television. I'm sorry. I just don't do ratchet television. And I know that there are a lot more people who are out there. Well, let me be truthful. I don't do a lot of ratchet television. Every so often, my ratchet itch and my petty itch come and I need to scratch it. But in general, I don't do that. So I needed a space for that. So I go back to my core competency and I ask, and you have to ask literally, are the things that we are doing, do they match our core competency? Now I'm going to say this now. If you are in the Scoop group, you've actually seen me do this. And you might not know this is you probably didn't know what I'm doing when I do this, but this is exactly, you're about to see exactly what I've done, okay? So you go back to your core competency. Is what I'm doing matching my core competency? And if it's matching my core competency, then I'm okay. But if I'm doing something that does not match my core competency, then I need to shut that down, okay? So that's the first thing you do. You say, okay, am I matching my core competency? Yes. Okay, I'm good. Now we can move to the next step. The next step is that you have to ask yourself, are you connecting with the right people? And that's a very difficult question to answer because it's very encompassing. You want to find out, once you know who, we talk about your target market, once you know who your target market is, then you got to assess, are you speaking to them in a way that they understand? So here's a great example. A lot of my Money Mentor business is to churches. And so I understand that there is a certain language that is spoken in the church world, that if I use it outside of the church world, it might not make as much sense to people who are in it, because that's language that's specifically used in that genre. And so I will use certain language if I'm talking to that segment of the population, because I want them to understand what I'm doing. And that goes for anything. So if you're talking to, you're going to say certain things differently if you're talking to, an 18-year-old as if you are talking to an 85-year-old. So your language is going to be different because they understand and interpret words a certain different way. Am I giving them the right vision? So it's the same thing with your look. You want to be who you are, but at the same time, you know that if you are going into a place that is a little more high end, for example, you might want to dress, or a business event that's going to be a little more high end, you're going to dress the part, as opposed to if you go into you're going to a sporting event. So is your business dressed? Are you giving them the visuals that are necessary for your target market to understand? So are you speaking the language of your target market? Are you giving the visuals of your target market? And then the third thing is, are you giving the image of your target market? So if you are a celebrity brand, or you are a celebrity company, then you don't want to give the image of low budget. It's just, you don't want to be a Bloomingdale's, but all of your stuff looks like it's Walmart. Those are two different companies, both successful companies, but they both cater to do two different crowds of people. And because they cater to different crowds of people, there's a different expectation of each person who comes, or of each place. And so, so is your business operating, again, from a linguistic perspective, from a vision perspective, and from a image perspective, based upon the target market that you are trying to attract? So then you got to answer that. Once you do that, then you answer the question: are you connecting with enough people? So we do things with, we have something called conversion rates, and so we'd all love to think that we are such great salesmen that everybody who hears our business or sees our business is gonna love it. I know that's what I think. I think that everybody who I talk to about money and wanting to get better, they're gonna see it and be like, "Oh, of course I want to make more money. Yes, let's sign me up." But the reality is that's not true. There's a conversion rate that comes with it, and typically it's going to be probably around 10%. Or 20%, or again, it depends. It just really just depends. Some industries is 10%, some industries is 40%. But in financial service and in marketing, when you're looking at things in financial services, we usually are around like the 10 to 20%. So if that's what you're what your conversion ratio is, then you know that if you need 1,000 people to do something, then that means that you need to get it in front of whatever that percentage, that number is. So if I want 20 people to do something, then I know I need 1,000 people to see it for my conversions to be 20%, okay? Or 200, excuse me, not 20, 200 people. So whatever that number is, y'all get my point. So whatever you know that you need to get in front of enough people in order to get enough yeses is in essence what I'm saying. So when I worked in banking, we would always say that for every 10 individuals who sat at our desk, that our goal was to get at least 3 of them to buy a product or 4 of them to buy a product. And if we did that, then then we knew we had a good conversion ratio and we should make bonus. It's the same concept in your own business. When you pitch a product, you know how many people are going to buy, and if you're not hitting that number, then you know you have some adjusting to make. Then the fourth thing you gotta ask yourself is your value proposition strong enough? So each of us have a value proposition to our business, meaning we have something that says why you should buy from us. Why should you, and this is a cross thing. Why should you, even if we're talking about a church, why should you go to my church versus the church down the street? Why should you shop in my store versus the store down the street? Why should you listen to me talk versus the other person right now who's probably on Facebook Live talking as well? Like there's a value proposition to everything that we do in business, and we have to make sure that our value proposition is strong enough so that people will pay attention to us and hopefully buy from us. Okay, so those are the 4 things that you got to that tonight that we're talking about that you got to do. So again, you got to make sure that you're operating according to your core competency. Number 2, you got to make sure that you are connecting with your target audience or with the right people through image, through language, and through vision. So again, a lot of what we're doing is we're trying to sell them something. We're trying to sell them an experience. We're trying to sell them, a lifestyle. And so we're not necessarily selling a product. We're selling them a lifestyle. So I'm saying these things because I can see some of the people who are on here, but I see Corey Young is on here. Corey, when you're doing photography, you're not selling them your picture, because anybody can take a picture. They can take a picture with their iPhone. They could take a picture with, if you're not iPhone, we're Team iPhone over here. But you can take a picture with anything. You're selling the memory that you create doing it at the level that you do it. You're creating that experience for them that they will have because your quality is so much better than what they can do with just their regular phone, that they will remember these moments for the rest of their lives, and they can capture these great moments for the rest of their lives. So you're creating that experience in the back of their mind that says, yeah, I want to remember this. I want to make sure that I don't forget this. Same thing, I see Corey, I see you on here. I know you in daycare. It's the same thing. Why should I go to your daycare versus the one down the street? Well, simply put, because you are going to give a certain experience that other people, other daycare centers don't provide, and so I'm going to choose yours because you have again sold the value proposition of whether it be that it's that you're more hands-on, whether it's that you prepare students better for preschool or when they go into school, whatever it is, what is your value proposition? And when you do that and you sell that, then people are buying. So how do we do this? All right, here's the 3 things that we can do in order to do this. The first thing, and this is something, again, if you are in the Scoop group, you literally just saw me doing this a couple of weeks ago. So this is going to sound real familiar. I didn't use these words, but this is exactly what we did. So the first thing you want to do is you want to run a test. So there are services out there, like we talked about MailChimp. You could do it in MailChimp. There's SurveyMonkey. You can do that where you literally want to take a group of people, of your current customers, of your past customers, and people who are potential customers. So take a group of those people and literally ask them a couple of questions. Ask them question number 1, which you want to ask them, what does my business do well? Because if they're your current customer or they're a past customer, they've experienced what you do already. So ask them, what does my business do well? And they'll tell you. First of all, if they're a past customer or a current customer, hopefully they've already told you because you sent them surveys after they purchased something from you. But if you didn't, you can literally take probably 10, 15, 20 people and say, okay, what did we do well? What did you like about the experience with us? And find out. And what you should see is you should see some patterns in those answers and take those patterns. So if they say, for example, if you're a retail store, your front end customer service was phenomenal. Okay, so now you know that your front end customer service has to remain phenomenal because the people who visit you are looking for that and they think that that is something that you do well. So now you have an idea or a strategy as to how you can continue to market your business. You can market your business as having a strong front end customer service experience. He says, yeah, when you was asking what we like about it. Exactly. See, Jerry, there it is. That's exactly what I did. Exactly what we did. So then the second question you want to ask them, and Jay, you'll say, I asked the same question. What is it that we can do well? What is the one thing that we can do well? And you simply ask the people, what is it that we can do? What's the one thing? Don't tell them to give you a whole bunch, but what is the one thing that we can improve on? And again, and then listen. Listen to what they say. Listen to how they respond. And not just, don't just listen to what they say, but listen to how they respond. Because somebody can say, oh, everything's fine, but say it in a way that you know everything's not fine. Or if you put this question to everybody. So I put out a question, let me tell you, I put out a question at the end of last year for everybody my team members in the Scoop. And I asked them several questions. And one of the questions I asked is, what can I, as the leader, do better? And nobody answered the question. And so to most people, they would assume that meant that they were doing great. I love to think I was doing great. I'm doing all right. But I would love to think that I was doing such a phenomenal job that everybody on my team, nobody had a complaint or anything like that. But what it helped me to understand was that there might be that there could possibly be a barrier where they don't feel comfortable enough telling me what I can do better. Or maybe they don't feel like that their level of commitment to the organization is strong enough where they have the right to tell me. Or maybe I haven't created a culture where it's okay for them to tell me how they really feel about my performance. So, there's other things, not just that they didn't answer. So you want to not just look at the answers people give, but you want to look at the answers people don't give. Or, again, if you're talking to them the way that they give them. So, okay, again, so we're going to run a test. Remember, we said we're going to run a test. You can use SurveyMonkey. You can use, send an email or text to those that want to be notified. You execute, yep, exactly. You're moving too fast for me, Jerry. All right, so Jay. So the second thing is that you do is after you get that information, then you want to ask them this question, and this gets to the core competency issue. The core is you want to ask them, what is my business known for? So you want them to add, what is my business known for? And so so we do this again in the Scoop. We do this very often. Is I on a weekly basis or maybe every other week, I will put out a letter or a message or a post saying what we do and who we are. And I do it like this because we're constantly adding new people. But the other reason I do it is because I know that when you're dealing with social media, that everybody doesn't see every post. So I want people to know who we are. I want them to know what we stand for and why we do what we do. But I want to also know, again, what do you think we do? And if you don't know, then that gives me, instead of me getting offended like some people do, it gives me the opportunity to tell you, or to tell other people, or it gives me the opportunity to practice what it is, my spiel, to say exactly what it is that we do. And so we have to we have to do that. So that's your test. That's number one. That's step number one. Step number two is you then have to look to and examine your business. This is a hard one. As you examine your business, so you take the information that people gave you and then you examine your business. What do I mean by examine your weaknesses? I specifically mean you need to learn, see, are you properly staffing your weaknesses? So you as an owner, you as a CEO, you have strengths. And whatever your strengths are, you should know them. If you don't know them, find out. But find out what your strengths are, and then properly staff your weaknesses. So I'm good at talking. I'm pretty good at finance. I am becoming better at social media and marketing. So I have staff, put people around me who do the things that I don't do well, or who do the things that I do well that I don't have time to do them. I don't have enough time to do them. So I staff my weaknesses so that way I'm not all over the place. Now, here are the 5 areas as a business owner you got to make sure you got staffed. Okay, y'all ready? So the first area, every business, even a small business, needs human resources. Every small business needs human resources. So you need a strong human resources team. And even if you're now if you are a one-person business or a solopreneur, all 5 of these are probably you right now. And don't be stressed about it. Don't be worried about it. That's a part of the evolution of business. Okay, that's totally okay. But as you bring people on, you got to think about, again, you want to bring in good people. You want to bring in strong people. Don't bring in people and don't. One of my mistakes, and actually Michelle Akins taught me this early on. She taught me I remember one of the first conversations we had about business. She said, whatever you do, do not let Pastor Burns make hiring decisions. And I remember that to this day. She said, whatever you do, do not let Pastor Burns make hiring decisions. And what she meant by that was that part of me is very soft, and that part of me is very giving, and I want the best for people, and I want people to have every opportunity, and I want to see the best for people. That's brilliant and wonderful when it comes to pastoral ministry, but that's absolutely horrible when it comes to running a business. And because as a business owner, I need to put people in positions that they could be successful in. And if they're not successful, or if they turn out they are successful and they stop being successful, I need to move them quickly, because it can have an effect on my business if I let people stay in the wrong positions for too long. Okay, so you have to have a strong human resources team. The second thing you need a strong training team. So again, as you bring people on, you want people to be properly trained to do what you need them to do. Because as an organization, again, going back to our first thing, is if you find out that your business has a very strong front end presence, and that's why people come, the worst thing you could do is not properly train somebody and put them in the front end, and they ruin this wonderful reputation that you've given. So you need a proper training system to say, this is how we do this. These are the things we say. These are the things that our customers expect. This is the level of service that's expected of you if you're going to work in this business and in this particular position, okay? So you need HR, you need training. The third thing you need a strong accounting and finance team. My God, you need a strong accounting and finance team if you want to be in business. Simply put, more people are losing money that they don't even know, simply because they don't typically look at the books. And so you need people on your team who know the P&L statement. You need people on your team who know the ins and outs, the seasonalities of your business, the people who know how to leverage capital expenditures, the people who can tell you this is a good time to hire, this is a good time to fire. You need those people in your business so that you can remain successful and so you don't frivolously spend money that you don't have, or that you're not, some business, you're sitting on too much cash and you should invest in certain things. So it just really just depends on what's going on. But you need somebody who's strong in human resources, or excuse me, who's strong in finances and accounting. So we got HR, we got training, we got accounting and finance. Those are three. Then you need a strong ad and PR team, meaning you need ad and marketing, not PR, but marketing. You need a strong marketing team. Ad meaning advertising and marketing. Two different things. What's P&L, profit and loss. P&L is profit and loss statement. So every business runs on a profit and loss statement. Just telling you if you're profitable or if you're losing money, and it gives you a list of all of, a breakdown of all of your expenses and all of the money that's coming in. So if you are like myself in Global Drive, your revenue coming in from events, coming in from ad revenue, subscriptions if we sold them, stuff like that. And then how much you're spending. How much am I spending on marketing, advertising, et cetera, et cetera. So you need a strong marketing and advertising group. Because, again, if you don't have that, then back to our first part where we talked about, are you speaking the language? Are you giving the right value proposition? That team is responsible for doing that. They're responsible of letting the visuals of your business come across to the target audience that you needed to come across. And the fifth thing you need, and probably the most important thing, but these other four are just as important, is you need a strong sales team. So you need people who can actually deliver customers, because again, we are judged based upon our profits. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how nice your marketing signage looks. I don't care about none of that. If nobody's buying, you out of business, period. And so we've got to, again, put ourselves in position, again, to have salespeople on our team who can deliver, So those are the five pieces you need, okay? Sales, marketing and advertising, human resources, training, finance, and accounting. If you have those five things, you want to examine all five of those to find out which one of these is my weakness, and then begin to staff that properly. All right. Then the third thing you need to do is, from all the things that you learn from 1 and 2. So from the test that you run with your people and the staffing of your weaknesses, then you need to execute on what you learned. Very simple. You need to execute on it. So if you find out, again, that part of the reason why your business isn't growing is because your sales team stinks, then you got to go find somebody or become the salesperson for your business until you can find somebody else. So either become it so you can sell it, so you can do it, or staff somebody or hire somebody who can do it for you. Because that's going to be very necessary. So to Jarian's point earlier, what we did was we simply asked the question, what is it that Global Drive does well? Are we not, or the Scoop, what are we not doing well? What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? And then from that information, we executed. Very simply, they asked us, several people asked us to email them the links to the show every week instead of them having to find them because they thought it was too hard to find, which was fine. They asked us to talk more about the show during the show in the group. That's fine. So actually what we did was we stopped. I shut down anybody else being able to post except for the radio personality. So nobody else while the show is on can post. Usually we post on our public page, which we do that too, but we also now carry the conversation into the group so we get greater engagement from the people who are already invested in our success, okay? And so now our engagement has picked up, and I'll be truthful, I haven't said this publicly, but our listenership has picked up because we made those changes. The other thing that we did was we wanted to, because ad revenue was not coming at the rate that I wanted it to come in, but instead of looking for ways to try and cut prices and stuff like that, because my prices are already, in my opinion, too low. But since I know I'm working with newer business, I know my target market, which is newer businesses and right now in smaller businesses, that instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to, cut prices, or I'm going to, whatever, what we decided to do was we created a monthly competition where every month we give away free advertising to one business simply by them being a partner with us. And as a part of being a partner, not only does that one business every month get free stuff, but the other partners get discounts on. They get discounts. They also get first opportunities to vend at special rates and other stuff too. So yeah, I know you do. I know you like the show more than the group, and we working on the group too. So the other part of it was we found out that there were people like Jarian who didn't like certain parts about the group, and the truth, Jarian, is there are certain things I don't like about the group. So the other part of that was me going back to, this is a part of that core competency question, was me going back and saying, is what we are doing a part of the core competency? And I had to be honest and say, no, it's not. And so there are other changes that are going to be covered as well. So because ultimately my business is a reflection of me, and so though I don't necessarily expect everybody to be me, I do expect that my business to be a reflection of me. So again, so after you do that, you want to run a test, then you want to staff your weaknesses, then you execute. Then the fourth thing is you do it all over again. Okay, you got to do it all over again. So once you get to a certain spot and you're comfortable in those changes that you just made, then you go right back and you run a test again, and then you find out about your new weaknesses, and then you execute those, and then you do it again. You run another test, and then you staff your weaknesses, and then you execute on those, and you do it again. In business, we call that continuous improvement. Okay, so you do that, and as you do that, you'll see that, or fine-tuning, exactly. You said the show is better than the group. The show is different than the group. It's completely different than the group for now. But, again, you have to, you just have to continuously improve. And just for the record, when we started the group, we had no idea what it was going to turn into. It just kind of got away from us, the truth be told. It just literally got away from me. And when it got away from me, instead of me doing what I told y'all to do, which was quickly make decisions when just like with people and people leaving people in bad positions for too long, I left the group in the bad position for too long, which means now I have to turn around and I have to make the hard adjustments in order to get it back to where I want it. So that's why you don't do that, why you just don't let stuff happen, because when you do, again, as the owner, you got to fix it. Nobody else can fix it. You got to fix it. So you make mistakes, you learn, you figure it out, and then you adjust. And then again, like I said, you run another test, and then after you run that test, you find out what your weaknesses are, and you fix those, and then you execute on those, and then you do it again, and you continuously improve, and you continuously grow. And so for me, what the key indicator was, the key indicator, was that in the Scoop group, we had 2,900 people. 2,900 people. And I just so happened one day to be looking at the numbers and realize that we weren't even converting at a 10% rate. So I'm saying, okay, so I got 2,900 people. That means that I should have an additional 290 people listening to the show, at least, in order to be converting at a 90% rate. And I wasn't. And so from there, it said that, number one, I have not properly sold the vision of the group to the people in the group. And then number two, I have not executed well enough to letting people know the benefit or the value proposition of being a listener or a regular listener to the show. So again, what I do is I made changes. It's just that simple. So as a business owner, it starts and stops with you. You have a team, you have people around you who are experts, but ultimately it starts and stops with you. There is no decision that is made that does not come back to you. The great part about leadership is, like I said, the great part about leadership is when things go wrong, you get to be the one to fix it. And when things go right, you get to be the one to hand out the accolades. Yeah, you're the one usually standing on stage, but any great leader knows that when things go right, it is always because they have the right people in place. And there's no different for me. When my group is successful, when my radio shows are successful, it is because I put the right people in place. It is not because of me. When things go wrong, it falls on these shoulders right here to fix it. And as they say, and the buck stops here. Okay? So it just is what it is. So I hope this was helpful tonight. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that if there was something, if you, like y'all know, if it's something that you disagree with, put it in the comments. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do, this is what we do. So every Monday night, we're going to try to do this, continue to keep this up. I think this is week 4 of this. And again, I appreciate you guys for spending the time with me. I hope, again, if you are in this grind, that you continue to keep going. Remember, you have a passion. You started your business for a reason. Don't forget it. There are going to be moments that you want to just say, you know what, I'm done. But remember, you started this for a reason, and you have a passion for doing it, and you can do it. So remember, you can do it. It's not, usually you might have to make some tweaks. You might have to make some adjustments. You might have to change some things about your model, but it does not mean that you cannot be successful. It just means you haven't found the right formula yet. So keep going. I'm proud of you guys for what you're doing. I'm proud of you for trying. I'm proud of you for making a step that most people would never make. Most people are too scared of failure to even try, but you chose to do something that 99% of the people in this world would never do, and that is to start their own business, to eat what you hunt. That's what you tried, what you started doing. And I'm proud of you. I want the best for you. If there's anything I can do to help you, please, 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 please let me know, and I will definitely do the best I can. All right? As always, you guys know, again, if you need some help, email me at themoneymentor1@gmail.com, the money, M-O-N-E-Y, mentor, and the number 1 at gmail.com, or you can always inbox me, and I will respond as soon as I can. I'm a pretty busy person, but I promise you I will respond as soon as I can. So, all right, guys, do me a favor one more time. If you have not shared this, please do. If you know somebody who this would be beneficial for, please invite them or have them send me a friend request or whatever you want to do. That's fine. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, The Scoop, we are on the air. We're going to have a good show tomorrow. We are talking about, I forgot. It's going to be a good show. But we do have some more good music. What are we talking about tomorrow? I don't remember. But we're talking about something tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be good. I forgot, sorry. But then April 8th, again, if you're in Chicago, we're having a relationship forum. It has been confirmed. April 8th at Just Us Hair Salon on Torrance Avenue. April 8th from 6 to 9 is going to be, I'm hosting. And this is our Global Drive live relationship forum. So I'm hosting. Y'all know Kenneth Sean. Kenneth Sean is going to be on our panel. We've got Jasmine Turner of Black Match Make. I always get the tongue twister. She's going to be on the panel, plus Lasagna Burnett, who's the CEO of Just a Salon, and one more person, I can't remember. But we got food. It's going to be nice, y'all. So y'all want to come out and support the April 8th, Chicago from 6 to 9. All right? Of course, Wednesday, Word on Wednesday with Pastor Burns. Thursday, Queen Conversations with Ebony, Lakeisha, and Leah. And then, of course, if you have not downloaded your copy of Nouveau Exposure, do it today at nouveauexposure.org. All right? Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.